horrible afternoon.
Plastic leaching.
Just now noticing a sweet new microphone speaker there.
Doing,
I know, isn't it cool?
Very
a little update from your
spooky
lens from
because it's
the-
like, yeah, obvious what it is.
Yeah,
We've
Your
done it
chair
before,
planning
but
commission, right?
yeah.
So do you mind doing that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
he doesn't remember it being.
And then,
No, I don't mind.
What kind of illegal stuff did you just ask you to do in front of the attorney?
those are the DDA
It's not illegal if the attorney's present.
Denny?
Oh, we're just a syndicate now.
Or, well, either of you. Do one of you mind doing a Parks Committee update and one doing Friends of the Parks?
Got my friends of the park stuff.
Okay, Denny's got Friends of the Park.
There you go.
Guess
Did
what
see
you are?
Dad killed his brother,
No.
got murdered?
No, because Parks Committee isn't on the
By a
agenda,
family
so no, I
member.
won't do Parks.
No, but Township Board is, and that
Over on the
includes
east side?
quick
Today.
department
Right.
updates.
I don't know where the incident occurred. I just saw that.
Okay.
We meet tomorrow, how's that? That's the
Kind of
update.
crazy.
Okay.
Brother and a brother too.
And solar?
Interesting
Soda.
I was like, solar, let's do it. I'm
Well, I
gonna
mean,
put it right in the minutes.
Half the meeting yesterday with Sean McCann was people talking about either solar or talking about homeschooling. Those are the two,
Oh,
those are the two, yeah, there's some bills that they think they're gonna try to pass and they will target.
So much time with.
Well, you really never know with these meetings. It's kind of feast or famine. I mean, sometimes it's packed and sometimes people are like, I'm busy.
Well, the sun is
Kenji,
shining.
I think we're ready.
Probably come in at 7.
Thanks.
Probably think it's at
All
7.
right, it's 6:01, and I'm going to call to order the Oshtemo Charter Joint Board Meeting for Tuesday, March 19th, 2024 at 6 p.m. At this time, is there anyone here in the public wishing to make comment? Seeing no public comment, let's do a quick roundtable of introductions, and Clerk, why don't you start us off?
I am Dusty Farmer. I'm the clerk and I also sit on the Zoning Board of Appeals.
I think this is an interview for Claire. She's sitting all by herself.
She got smart and didn't want my cooties, that's what it is.
Anyway, Neil Sikora, I'm on Township Board and also on Friends of the Parks.
Kenny Pantzer on Friends of the Parks and also Soda.
Claire Boucher, treasurer for the township, not intimidated of an interview scenario like this.
Or should you be?
I'm on the Heart Committee, which hasn't met in a while. Public media, and some others.
Al Smith, I'm on Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Scott McCon, Planning Commission.
Mike Chapman, trustee on Parks.
Zach Ford, Township Board and Planning Commission.
And Phil Dorlack, Planning Commission. Family issues. Jim Porter, Township Attorney.
Sherry Bell, supervisor. So you have an agenda in front of you, and I'm going to, as we move into item number 4, board and committee updates. Denny will be presenting for a quick, just a short update for Friends of the Park. Phil, if you'd be so kind as to do Planning Commission, and who did I hear on Zoning Board of Appeals? That would be you, Al. And then we have the DDA. I don't think we have any members of the DDA here, so I'll try to fill in for that.
I'm with the ZBA.
No, DDA.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Nope, that's okay. That's okay. So we'll start with the Downtown Development Authority. So traditionally, these updates would be provided by the planning director. You all may or may not be aware of the fact that Oshtemo's former planning director resigned in December, but I'm very proud and pleased to share that Jody Staforia will be coming on April 1st as our new planning director. She's going to be a great addition to the township. So the Downtown Development Authority actually meets this Thursday. you may remember that, and Phil is working on this project, but right now, the extension of the Atlantic Avenue extension is a prime focus of the Downtown Development Authority. The DDA purchased with the backup from the township, a stretch of land that's gonna enable us to redesign rather, Atlantic Avenue and close off. Eventually, the plan is to close access to Stadium Drive at where Parkview and Stadium Drive cross. It's a very dangerous intersection, and so that is kind of some of the primary work that the DDA is doing right now. In addition, you might not be aware, the DDA also funds the banners that go up at the holiday time. They also fund the corner at 9th and Stadium where the holiday decorations are. They support that. They support Friends of the Parks with various sponsorships. They also help support, well, by vote on Thursday, fingers crossed, they will be supporting the mowing that occurs around Millard's Way and in that area. So they do actually some really great support work for the township. So are there any questions about the DDA? What is, I mean, for those that are less familiar, maybe what does it constitute or do? Phil, is there anything you want to talk about Atlantic Avenue?
I can provide more of an update on that. Right now, we prepared a memo to the DDA that'll be at their next meeting, giving an update on all the 8 goals that we had established for the project to extend Atlantic Avenue from Parkview to Stadium Drive. We're working on completing conceptual drawings of what those intersections, those new intersections will look like, and also what the extension of Atlantic Avenue will look like in regards to parcel layout, buildings. So there'll be a couple different visuals for people to look at a public meeting that we're scheduling for April. So look for more notices on that coming out. We're hoping to start getting some feedback on those conceptual drawings next month.
Yeah, for sure. Not only is that going to make that corridor safer, but it's also going to provide opportunities for thinking about what kind of development we could add in that area. So it's actually a great opportunity for the township. Next, Mr. Denny Patzer, do you mind sharing what's going on at Friends of the Park?
Sure. Earlier this winter, we did start a review of the bylaws that had been revisited in a while. And we got most of the work done in first reading, and the meeting today got canceled. We thought it was gonna be, they would be approved today. So at the next meeting, they will be. Still in conjunction with the Historical Society, May 19th, there's gonna be a little bit of a celebration at Drake Farmstead for their 20th anniversary. So maybe keep that in mind. A couple projects here. The Storybook Walk, looks like it's a go again for this year. We're partnering with the Kalamazoo Public Library, and it will be the walk out here from the building back here into the park. And it's about a 50-50 split on the funds to make that happen. There'll be some permanent boards, signs put up there, so that each year that the whole story can change. That's kind of an exciting project that the committee has taken on. And then the couple shout outs. Work done on the Fruit Belt Trail yet. Dave Walsh has agreed to take the lead, and we'll be working with the volunteers for, I think, 6 or 8 of the work sessions out there. Dave does a ton in all the parks. So it's a nice thing. He's taken on that project for most of the next few months. And at the Drake Farmstead, the little kitchenette in the building there is gonna be opened. I think it's all finished now. But there's always volunteer work done, but Penning and Sons and Kirschman really donated and did a lot for the casework, cabinetry, and the install out there. So that's a nice thing as well. And if you see anybody that works there, you can give them a shout out. And then the final one is summer concert series is all set. The meeting wasn't today, so I don't exactly know, you probably know who they are, the groups.
I do, actually. Give me 1 second. Hold on.
I was gonna say, I wish I had the draft of the newsletter.
That's where
up.
I'm going.
That's where it
I
is.
think it was Stephen Stills and this Bono guy.
Eminem.
Oh,
Eminem.
yes, way upscale this year. Just a second, it's in the draft of the newsletter, so.
Well, anyway, that'd be it for my report then when we get that back, okay? Any questions or, okay.
Those bands are, gotta get it so I can read it, sorry. These aren't what they used to be. June 2nd is Blue Water Ramblers. July 14th is the Iconics, and August 4th is Hired Hands.
I was close.
Yeah, almost the same.
Basically twins.
Thanks, Denny. Next we'll move to Township Board, and so I'm gonna start with board members. Claire, do you wanna give an update from the treasurer's office?
Yeah, my brain's a little fried this week.
No, everybody's.
We're mid pre-audit, we are mid-county settlement all this week. Everything looks good, of course, but, you know, we've gotta get finalized numbers and signatures, and then we can issue township checks. They can issue township checks for short taxes. Almost done, almost there. County should, or township should have all of their funds by beginning of May at latest.
I'm gonna write that date down. Clerk,
You always call me when I'm writing.
do you want me to wait?
No, I'm okay. So we just finished up, I have to remember which special character I put into that password. We just finished up our, the state actually finished the canvass of the February 27th presidential primary. That was also the state of Michigan, other than a small beta test in 2023, but the state of Michigan's endeavor to provide 3 ways for people to vote in the state of Michigan. We now offer 9 days of early voting, we offer same-day voting, and we offer no reason absentee voting. We are only the state in the country that allows, or not allows, but of course allows, but provides 3 different ways for voting to occur. It was a big ordeal. We've got some folks who are involved with elections who are present here today. Early voting was brand new and it was very difficult. And it was, you've got folks who've been working elections in all different, 18 different jurisdictions who came together to work toward a new way of facilitating voting for our voters. And so we have some more hurdles we need to get over. We have some, instructions that need to be updated and procedures that need to be changed to accommodate what we actually need to do in these 4 early voting precincts. And for anyone who's not aware, we have Portage Parks and Rec, the Fetzer Center at Western Michigan University, the Douglas Community Center on the north side of Kalamazoo, and the Expo Center and Fairgrounds. Those are the 4 early voting sites in Kalamazoo County. So all of us, I don't want to go too far into that, but 18 jurisdictions came together to form an agreement. Only one in Kalamazoo County did it on their own, that was Pavilion Township. And so you've got over 300 election workers who came together to make this happen. You've got at least 18 clerks, plus their deputies, plus most often election specialists who came together. And then for the first time ever, the county clerk got involved in administering elections. That's never happened before. So again, it was an interesting first go. We've got a lot of work to do. Actually, the second week in April, we will be reconvening to get an update for all of the clerks. And supposedly, Secretary of State Jocelyn Benson is going to come to that clerks meeting to hear about how early voting went in Kalamazoo County. So all of those things are very exciting. Here in Oshtemo, we had pretty low turnout, as presidential primaries tend to be. It was just under 24%. We expect much higher turnout in August and November, of course. And then we do have one small little tiny election in May, and Trustee Sikora here is the chair in precinct 2, and that's where it is for Matawan school districts. Just so we can have on record, I absolutely dislike it when school districts or any other entity put something on a ballot for a one-off election that was completely unnecessary and could have been consolidated with any other jurisdiction to save money. And that's all. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
And you said
Thanks,
that was a
Dusty.
smart.
Yeah.
Trustee Ford, anything you want to share?
No, nothing special or unique.
Okay.
It'll be covered by Phil.
Trustee Chapman?
Nothing.
Got
What are your
nothing?
voice? See, I'm getting sick from you.
Yeah, this is 100% your fault. Trustee Sikora?
Oh, nothing really. You wanted something about the Parks Committee, so I didn't come prepared. We were
Making
meeting-
it up, is that what you're saying?
No, actually, I just called up the agenda for tomorrow's Parks Committee meeting and thought, oh, that would be a good way. No, so we're continuing to work on some items. The Township Park, we're replacing some of the equipment. So we have a discussion tomorrow about some replacing some equipment, and also the Drake Farmstead, the parking lot the new parking lot area along Croydon that we're looking at hopefully establishing this year, I guess, yet. Those are probably the biggest things, I think, Park Committee that I can remember or read in this small print. That's it.
Thank you, Neil. I got to check one thing off my list. I appreciated it. I do want to extend, can't tell, I'm not feeling the greatest. A chunk of the staff has been in and out due to illness, and Vanessa, who I'm blaming Trustee Chapman, and then I'm pretty sure I might have passed it on to Sarah, and then now it's at Vanessa. So we have a crud running through the office.
We're also
So-
gonna post our full medical records later if anybody wants to check them out.
I'm just glad we have a doctor in the room.
I know,
Yes.
right? I'm gonna
We
hit
gave it
him
to
up,
all of you.
hit him up for something
We'll make you retire
more
early,
aggressive, I
guaranteed.
think. So from the supervisor's office, I just want to do an opportunity to share sort of, things are not standing still at Township Hall by any way, shape, or form. So just want to give you a snapshot of the various departments. I'll start with maintenance. Right now, we have one, back to health records, we have one full-time person that's out, but we're anticipating on leave, but we're anticipating back in a month or 6 weeks or so. And we just hired another full-time person. So for the first time, maintenance staff is fully staffed. Very exciting. Jim, anything, do you want to talk anything about legal?
Well, I guess I'll just say I continue to be disappointed in our legal system. We are waiting on the Court of Appeals to put the sewer case that's holding up our USDA bonds, put it on a case call, and it still is not on a case call. And I recognize that the old saying is that the wheels of justice grind exceedingly slow, but they're outdoing themselves on this one. I'm really would like to see an oral argument on that, because I would virtually guarantee a win, and then hopefully we can get on with the USDA projects. But we are not stopping. We are currently looking at alternatives. for moving some of the sewer project ahead, even in advance of that hearing, and staying busy, so.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think it's important to state that so much time, energy, work has gone into getting that sewer project fully lifted off, and we've not taken our foot off the gas. So not only are we going to continue to see this through the legal system, but Jim and our Public Works Director have been working on how do we do that while we wait for the courts, and there's reasons for that. But make no mistake that the sewer project's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. And Jim had a win in court today.
Yes. We unfortunately had a negative ruling from one of the district court judges, and I think it probably stems from the fact that most of what the district court judges do is address, criminal and traffic type issues. And it was a zoning issue, and the court really missed one of the primary rules of interpreting a zoning ordinance, and we couldn't let it stand, so we appealed it to the circuit court, and we got a very nice ruling from the circuit court, supported our position, upheld the zoning ordinance, and then we can go ahead and make sure that that's properly applied. No offense to the district court judge, not everybody gets it right. In fact, 3 days before that case was presented for oral argument, the Supreme Court handed down a case on all, on all four corners where the Court of Appeals had gotten it wrong in how to apply a permissive ordinance. And so it was nice to be able to walk in and say, by the way, here's a new case from the Michigan Supreme Court stating that with a permissive zoning ordinance, if something is not specifically permitted in the ordinance, it is by implication prohibited. And that was our case. District court sort of missed that. Once again, not a lot of zoning issues going on in district court, so we understood it, but felt we had to appeal it.
How long did that case take to get to the end?
From start to finish?
Mm-hmm.
Well, given the number of times we had to cite the gentleman and try to encourage, cajole, and about 1.5 years.
So Jim's been very busy. Jim continues to be very busy. Thank you. So update on the IT department. Y'all are aware we did an investment in the main meeting room and got great feedback. Can't remember who it was from, Dusty.
Oh, the reading challenge, the library.
Yeah, that the quality is just so much better as far as being able to hear, and so really pleased with that. Moving forward, the IT department will be, so with the new staff coming in, and there's gonna be quite a few, definitely getting those folks set up and ready, and then also sort of making sure that that we are getting the best value for our cloud services. So we use analytics, and I know that John's been looking at making sure that we're getting the best value for our money and other alternatives. So he's very on top of it, very accessible person. The assessing department just finalized its board of review. Would you like to speak to that?
Okay.
I can if you don't want to. I didn't mean to call you
No,
out
no,
like that. It
seriously,
just like clicked for
I
me.
thought this year the Board of Review went very well. Those people that came in, everybody comes in trying not to pay any more taxes, obviously. But a lot of people came in well-prepared and well-documented. And so many of those went away happy, or at least they'll know that in a couple of weeks. Had one little nasty guy came in, but you know, that's to be expected. Many of the people that came in were new buyers in the district, and they couldn't understand why we bought and the taxes were here, and all of a sudden the taxes are here, and we explained to them Prop A, and they probably weren't happy, but they were at least satisfied.
I would agree. That uncapping, I think, is a learning curve, I think, for
And it,
folks.
it went very well. I've been at it now for 2 years, and I'm new to this side of the state, and I learned an awful lot about it.
Lot of thoughtful dialogue. I serve as the secretary for Board of Review. Lot of thoughtful dialogue amongst the board members as they make their decisions. Christine, our assessor, actually said to me it was the smoothest Board of Review they've ever had. So that, and she's well-experienced assessor, so I thought that said a lot. And she also informed me that the required documentation from the Board of Review that's required to the county that notifies them of the changes that Board of Review have been submitted to the county, and so all that stuff is already done. So she is on top of it in her work.
Ready for vacay next week.
I told her that's, I'm like, you wanted to leave for vacation with
We'll
a
be
clear
back in
conscience.
July and December, and we gotta deal with the poverty exemptions then, and we'll
Right.
see how that goes.
It's compelling, isn't it? I mean, it's hard.
But you know, the thing that I think is so cool about the Board of Review is we've made a lot of friends.
Mhm.
And being new here, it's really nice to make a lot of friends, so.
It's very nice.
And unexpected from Board of Review, so that's even better. It is very nice.
That was a good time. A few good snacks too, it wasn't so bad.
I had a no-bake cookie.
Missed you, I
too.
thought you were gonna come in for something too.
Wait, for taxes or for snacks? I got the snacks on the sly.
Okay, that's fine.
Ordinance enforcement is the department in the township that goes out and essentially exercises our, making sure people are meeting our ordinance expectations, and sometimes they write tickets, sometimes they don't. We do have a full-time staff person out of that department. Again, anticipating a return in 4 to 6 weeks, but we have a part-time person who has stepped up in a big way and made himself available to fill in the gaps. So that work is going on. Ordinance enforcement, as I continue to learn more, so that's the team that they visit. I did not know this until recently. They visit all of the liquor stores monthly.
I was gonna volunteer to do that for them, but I found out you don't get samples, so I said no.
Monthly. I was surprised. It
We have
was
to.
monthly. They also they follow up on apartment inspections and all that stuff. So they are also busy, but Rod has really stepped up to make sure that we continue to be supported while they're down one person. See, parks, I think I already expressed that Vanessa, she was planning on being here and unfortunately is homesick. If you haven't noticed, I hope you have at least a little bit, that our media and communications manager, Kyle, is really stepping up his game and we are putting out a lot more information. I'm very excited to start quantifying the interactions that we're getting. Certainly more activity on our Facebook page for sure in the last month. Instagram a little bit, our LinkedIn page is building, so really excited about what he's doing, and he's on the final review for our spring newsletter, and really could not be more pleased with the direction that it's heading. And my anticipation is by the end of the year, not only will we be seeing, my hope is not only will we be seeing our regular quarterly in-print newsletters, but we'll also be able to begin to put out a monthly e-newsletter that maybe isn't quite as broad, but has kind of more up-to-date information. So really pleased how that work is progressing. He's really starting to grab a hold, and he's a creative person. Let's see, HR, Human Resources. So again, we've been able to hire a full-time planning director. We've hired a full-time maintenance, maintenance level 1. We were able to fill, there was a very long filled position of a person that comes to our public meetings and takes minutes for us. And she also retired at the end of the year after, I don't know, 10 years of service or 12, a long time. And I was able to learn today that that position has been filled, so I'm very pleased about that. We have an open engineering position, and we are using our new social media to try to leverage to see if we can sort of, broaden our opportunity to attract talent to the township. I don't want people to confuse that we're hiring another engineer, that our current public works director, who is our engineer, is somehow going somewhere. She is not going anywhere. We are so busy, she needs another person. This position's actually been in the budget for 2 years, I think. So I'm hoping that this first go-around, I believe the applications will close close to the end of the month, that we will get the right candidate and be able to fill that. Next, out of HR, we will be hiring, and I'm in the planning process right now, to hire 4 firefighters. And so that will be coming probably mid to early spring. And in addition to that, our HR director is also launching, which was part of our org review, by the way, for Neil. Part of our organizational review that was performed in 2021 is doing we've hired an outside entity to come in and evaluate, do the jobs that people do actually reflect the job descriptions to which they are hired on, and are we meeting, are we in appropriate range for the salaries that we're providing people? So really excited to see the work come out of that. The anticipation is that we should have a report before final budget time, which will be very important because we're going to be relying on knowing that salary information before we close any final budgets. So I feel like the timing there is really good. Fire department. Fire department's getting ready to hire 4 firefighters. I think you probably all know that they also recently added 2 full-time staff. And so their department is growing. I'm going to add a little bit more to that. Actually, I'll just do it now. So many of you have been involved in one way, shape, or another that the fire department has grown out of the facility that we have now. And since 2016, I got my hands on a copy of a full evaluation of redoing the fire department from 2016 recently. This work has been in conversation. The township has since then been saving some funds. The fire department millage has been saving some funds for a new building, but based on operational expenses and, needs for capital, it just can't save at the rate that's ever going to get us to a new building, or that feels like it's a really big lift. And so I'm going to couple that with saying I'm very proud to say it's not a done deal yet, but I was very proud and I got a nice compliment. The township met with Representative Morris, our state legislator that represents our area. And we presented 3 projects. So the representatives are permitted to, during the appropriations process, make requests for district funds. And so we put 3 projects in front of her. One is helping us fund a new fire station. Another is to help us complete the planned Phase 3 work at Drake Farmstead Park. And the other is to assist us in sewer expansion. And right now, we put 3 ideas on the table. I got a very nice message from her last night that she thought that the presentation was very good. Our staff did an outstanding job of describing to her why we needed the money. And so if you don't ask, you never, if you don't ask, you get nothing, right? So they're not guaranteed funds, but hopefully one of those 3 projects will come funded in the state 2025 budget.
How detailed does the presentation have to be for her consideration?
I would say I made the decision that because it was an uncertain outcome or a less certain outcome, that at the beginning point of the conversation, it didn't make sense to me to invest any dollars in scheduling surveys or any outside sources.
No, I meant more like if sewer was on the table as a project, did you have to identify actual neighborhoods? Or could it have been a more?
No, department heads came prepared. The fire department came prepared. The planning-
So then they decided which fire station would be replaced, or
Oh, yeah, we talked
brand-
about one.
it was one?
Mhm.
Okay.
And it's not it would ultimately end up like a rebuild. But, I mean, the hope is to go east. So, the presentations, I would say, gave her, I feel, as much information as she needed. And then the goal would be, she will, or actually not the goal, the next step is she will let us know any insight she has that will help support to have us make the most successful project forward. So that would be the time when we would evaluate whether or not it would be worthwhile to invest to do a fuller proposal. But anyway, good stuff. And you know what? If they say no this year, next year's another year. So we'll just keep moving it forward. So that will get me to our Public Works Department. Let's see, that's fire maintenance. Yeah. So, some updates from Public Works is Phase 1 of the Kale Avenue non-motorized path is complete. So from Drake Road to the bridge, or almost to the bridge there, the overpass, that is complete. MDOT is starting construction on the US 131 overpass in April. Within this project, the path underneath the bridge will be completed. Once the section of the path under the bridge is completed, Phase 2, so the west side of the overpass to the Paddock Apartments can be constructed. The township and their consultants are currently working on easement negotiations, utility coordination, and final design. Anticipated construction late of 2025. So I think that, to me, that is one of my favorite projects. I just think so many people are gonna benefit from that and those high-density apartments on that corridor. Drake Road Path, the section from Stadium Drive to KL is the next priority for non-motorized on this corridor. The design work and easement acquisition are underway. Amtrak required to install the crossing by June 2024, and the remainder is expected to be constructed in spring of 2025. So, for those of you that may not be aware, getting across Amtrak with a path. There was many bites at the apple that were taken. And I believe it was Attorney General Dana Nessel stepped in and said, thou shalt communicate with the public. And so that work is getting done. Again, so that will be people walking along Drake Road down to Stadium Drive, or, yeah. Parkview Avenue Shared Use Path. This is north side from Vienna Street to Drake Road. The completion of this project is budgeted for 2024. The work entails paving an 8 to 10 asphalt path and installing a pedestrian safety fence on the bridge over 131. So that's at Parkview. 9th Street sidewalk. The township secured $540,000 in grant funding to construct a 6-foot wide concrete sidewalk on the west side of 9th Street from Stadium Drive to Quail Run Drive. Design is substantially complete and construction is anticipated in 2025. Right, Phil? I'm saying that because I think you're the design on the project, right? And we had a little hiccup with the road commission, but the new segment of non-motorized will serve 2 schools. So there's I think it's Heritage Christian there on the corner of 9th Street and Quail Run, and then there's Prairie Bridge, thank you. I was thinking Wood, and I knew that one. And then there's Prairie Ridge Elementary. And so that would get young people at least on a sidewalk from Prairie Ridge Elementary down to Flesher Field. Now, crossing Stadium Drive is still a thing, but at least they'll be connected. Local sidewalk projects, the township is undertaking maintenance and repairs as well as gaps annually to improve the connectivity and safety of the non-motorized network. That's ongoing. And we spoke about the USDA sewer expansion. So, I mean, it's busy out there, folks. I don't know what else to tell you. And we're looking at if we, we're watching the calendar for the Court of Appeals to be heard for the USDA loans. And to the Township Board, for those who might be interested, it is our plan on the next agenda that we will be discussing alternate financing options. So be prepared for that discussion. And again, that is my hope that we are really committed to getting these sewers done, and we may have to get creative in the meantime. We have a contractor we want to keep busy, and we have neighborhoods that need connection. So with that, are there any questions about anything that was just shared about what's going on at the township?
I have a question on the org review. Is that a township organizational structure review or just salary structure?
Yes, it was.
So how the township staff is organized,
That's
but
correct.
then there's a market study as far as market rates for salaries.
That is correct.
Okay.
That is correct. I know I'm coming up on a year, but in some ways, some things are still baby steps, like, have to take on what I feel is reasonable in my capacity at this point, and the staff's capacity mostly, not.
I mean, you're coming up on a year, but your first 6 months was budget. I mean, there was no capacity for anything else. So everyone should bear that in mind.
We've done a few things, I feel.
I say that because I'll ask all of you for grace very soon. You won't know what for until I tell you.
All right, Planning Commission, Phil.
Yep, couple items to talk about. One, we did swear in a new planning commission member, Jeremiah Smith. So we're up to our full 7, which is good. What did you think I was gonna talk about?
When you said he was gonna
I
cover
said
it
I was
all.
gonna cover it, I wanna make sure I cover it.
We did the mixed use.
The mixed use ordinance.
Yep, so that was on my list, so that was a big thing to get through planning commission, that's been since, I don't know, what was it, 2017 or something like that?
At least.
Or earlier, which really addresses, well, one, it was started with the development over on the Prairies Golf Course, morphed into a township-wide ordinance that has been through second reading at Township Board. One of the big sticking points on that ordinance at Planning Commission at the last minute was, density. And we had, what's the firm?
McKenna.
McKenna came in and did a presentation in the absence of having a planning director at that point in time and made some recommendations to the commission, and the commission was deadlocked at 6 members at that point.
Yeah.
So it did make it through to township board where it was approved with the changes in density. So there was, you know, a lot of dialogue about that density topic at the planning commission, and ultimately went through to the township board for approval. So we're excited for it to go through. You know, there's some anxiety about that density piece of it. I think it's a good document. I think it allows for flexibility within the township, and I'm excited to see what'll happen with it. I don't know, Zach, if you have anything to add, or Al, or Scott. We got lots of planning commission people here.
Nothing to add on the mixed use, that's it. It's an exciting new tool for development. We'll see what comes of it.
Planning commission wins for the show, like, they should get an award. They have the
Show up,
highest
yeah.
show rate.
They've done a lot of work.
They've done a lot, and
Yeah,
oh, by
looking
the way, it's
forward
not
to-
stopping.
Getting a planning director back on her feet and getting back to work. We got a lot of things to do.
The other item I had was an update on the comprehensive master plan.
Thank you.
I had a phone call with Suzanne Schultz, who's heading up that effort from our consultant at Progressive AE. She gave me a bunch of information, but really they've been in a heavy data gathering stage where they've released an economic study and analysis survey township-wide where they've gotten over 300 responses, which is pretty good for a voluntary survey for the township. They've been working on developing focus groups and of key stakeholders in the township, getting people to volunteer their time and their feedback for those groups, and those groups are scheduled to start meeting late this month on March 28th. So that's exciting. They've got some public pop-up events and community gatherings to get even more feedback coming up in April.
Got lots of Frisbees to hand out.
Yeah, there's gonna be a ton of public engagement happening starting really
I know,
soon
they're
here.
getting stolen.
Been giving them away.
And just to remind everyone, this, I believe it's a 3-year process that they proposed. So it won't be complete until late 2025 or 26, I think, so.
Correct.
You know, to do this process due justice and get feedback from the community, it does take some time to have all those events and meetings and get feedback from the public. So just a reminder to be patient, and that it was the plan to take that amount of time to develop such a comprehensive plan. Other work that they did is they did a complete audit of the township's existing planning documents, which if you're familiar with them, there are many, and they are band-aided together in a pretty disjointed way, which is really the reason for doing this comprehensive update. So through that audit, they've come up with some themes that they'll be sharing, sharing with the focus groups, township staff, various boards and commissions to refine those and have a place to start with the comprehensive document. So I did bring a list of those today that I'll quickly share, and I can leave those with people if they're interested too. But themes from the Oshtemo 2025 master plan are community identity through placemaking, balancing growth and reinvestment, resiliency and design, functional transportation, and fostering health, safety, and belonging. And then the overarching plan themes are to do this with effective implementation. So how are we gonna implement the plan with partnerships, financial planning efforts, and turn the visions into realities? Measurable progress, so progress should be defined.
How can we determine how close we are to achieving our goals? And reevaluation may be necessary and progress check-ins should occur routinely. So making sure that we're actually measuring our progress of the master plan. And then the right fit. So goals set forth should be realistic and attainable for Oshtemo and the different places within it. Close attention to detail is critical and goals should be challenging but achievable. So not getting over our skis and actually having goals that we can achieve over the next 8 to 10 years of the master plan. So that is my update from the planning commission.
You're gonna see a lot coming out about the events around the comprehensive master plan. Invites are going out for various focus groups, dates are being scheduled for the community pop-ups. I mean, I'm just really so happy, the level of engagement and the responses that we're getting with people that wanna participate is absolutely outstanding.
Yep.
So, we're doing an internal look, you know, certainly engaging residents, but also leveraging our relationships with neighbors and partners that maybe have more time or experience in certain sectors than we've had in the past as a township. So it's very fun group. It's fun. It's work, but it's fun work. Thank you, Phil. Denny, soda?
Quickly before you go.
Sure,
and
sure.
further, the thought leaders group meets tomorrow
Right, correct.
as part of that.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry, Denny.
No, that's okay. Most of the things that Sherry's already mentioned about the trail expansion, SOTA supports that as well. And one additional piece is to try to protect pedestrians and bikers on the current path from West Main down to KL. Well, I think we did it even farther down. Put some new trail cross markings on the pavement coming out of some of the private developments or businesses. And I think we put a couple signs up also for the cars exiting, coming out to get onto Drake. You pull out pretty far to see who's coming and when can you get your gap. So there were 7, I think, 7 or 8 crossings
Right,
that
that were
SOTA paid, to have them marked. And they're all approved by the government entities, et cetera, and it got done this year. So anyway, that was a one
Accomplishment in
major
and of
thing.
itself.
That's it.
Yeah, and I don't know when the next soda meeting is. I don't have it off the top of my head. Soda
June,
meets quarterly, right?
It's June 9th or something.
Yeah, soda meets quarterly and DDA meets every other month, right? Oh, wait,
I thought soda only met twice a year.
We meet twice a year.
is it just twice a year?
Yeah. Get the date here.
Zoning Board of Appeals. Al, are you saying no to everything over there at ZBA?
It keeps things simple. Now, we've had some spirited discussions over the past year. We haven't met too often. I think there's 3 or 4 things that come to mind. One of them was signage on some of the larger industrial buildings that we have, and whether or not our signage ordinances need to be updated. Jim assures me that's getting done. But other than that, things have gone very smoothly, no big problems.
We have one opening as an alternate, I believe. on
Yeah,
that
we do
board.
need an
Yeah.
alternate. We
Need an
have one
alternate.
alternate right now.
Harry used to be an alternate, but not anymore.
Harry spent about 12 years on the ZBA in Plymouth Township, and I
Oh.
moved here and said, no more.
You don't even need to turn in your resume. You're hired.
Well,
Well,
it's
he's
not
already
that, it's just
there,
I
so-
met Libby, and all of a sudden I'm
Oh,
sucked
sorry.
back into it, so. Here I am, and not only that, but I'm also the vice chair of it.
Oh, you're, oh,
And I just hope it's not like
Guess I better
Plymouth, because
memorize
2 meetings after being the vice chair, the chairman died. So I think Lewis is in better shape than our guy, but,
oh, did that happen at the last? Okay.
so anyway, yeah, like you were saying, what do we meet? 3, 4 times a year at best? It's
Yeah.
not very often.
We always think it's gonna be 12, but it just never is.
Well,
You're meeting in
Plymouth,
March,
Everybody
though.
wanted a fence, and we had a 4-foot
Yes.
fence ordinance.
Well, that'll-
So.
It'll be Thursday
big-
probably, I'm guessing, right?
Is there something
Yeah,
coming?
no, it's Tuesdays,
Yeah, 26.
Tuesdays.
I thought, she's talking about when the agenda's gonna be out.
Yeah, the agendas will be
Is there
coming up.
something coming up this Tuesday? I heard
Yes.
rumors of
On
it.
the 26th.
26th.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
that's good because I got theater tickets then too, so at least I hope it's not a long meeting.
Ah,
We can't
never
put it
is.
3 hours, nothing over 3.
Then we're good.
You can
Oh,
always
no,
make
that's
it
not-
short, you just make the motion.
It's a good, yeah, it's a good group and it's almost as much fun as the, Board of Review, but
It's,
the food.
We don't have any snacks though.
I know,
so
we
it's
just don't, yeah,
terrible.
there's nothing to eat, so. Are you offering?
You could start that as a term.
We have to sit up there and talk into the mics. Believe me, I try to do that. I had these gummy it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Anyway, yeah. It's a lot of fun. I'm glad to be here in Oshtemo. It's been 7 years since we moved here and it's interesting. It's a good place. We enjoy it.
oh, that's so nice to hear. Is there any final comments before we reach the end of our agenda?
Did you call public comment at the beginning?
I did.
Okay, I want to make sure that,
Did,
because I
aren't
put
you
it
proud
in,
of me?
I put it in the minutes.
Sherry? I have one final, thing I wanted to share is, Rich Hinman isn't with us this evening because his mother passed away this week, so, if you know Rich, reach out to him and extend I'm thinking about you, so, he will not be able to join Thought Leaders, as well, and I'm not sure that we will see him at DDA, so these are all, things. And then I guess I just wanna thank you all for being here and spending time. And this meeting is adjourned.
Hey, did you mention that to Amanda? So she can sign
I already did that.
Take it easy. Well, thank you for.
Yeah, okay.
it. Denny, my name's Dusty Farmer and I'm running
Did I say
for
the wrong name?
I'm going to sign my. I'm about to give